Hey, welcome back. Let's continue our conversation about artificial intelligence and talk about an issue that I hear quite often, and that is the worry that software developers will lose their jobs because of artificial intelligence. So people who are new to the game and you're thinking about whether it makes sense for them to learn programming, worry about that. Well, this is sort of like too late now because once I learn programming, once I get the basics down, then my job will be made by done by a computer, and that's certainly not the case. I would worry more if you're working in other industries that your job or your whole parts of the industry that you're working in are being replaced by artificial intelligence, by computers, by robots, by robotic machines. That's the thing that I would worry about. AI certainly has an impact on software engineering, but let's think about jobs like, I don't know, drivers, like self-driving cars. It's all about in the news, all kinds of problems related to that, of course. But it's a fact that even in like 10 years ago, we had some assistive technologies built into our cars. The future for self-driving cars, I wouldn't be surprised if we would really have self-driving cars in less than 5 years, which means the whole industry of having cab drivers and all kinds of delivery jobs are, well, being challenged by these self-driving cars, of course. What about technology that you have in your hands right now, probably, if you're listening to this podcast on your smartphone, that sort of replaced the whole legion of people who have been transcribing recordings into a typewriter, right? Typists or typical secretary work. This is it's not existing anymore, right? You can talk into your smartphone, and you will receive in near real time a transcription of what you said. And like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, this was the job of a typist, right? You had some recording machines, and then some kind of boss or whoever talked into their machine, into their recording device, and then some other guy or girl was supposed to be typing and listening back and typing. This is completely replaced by speech recognition, by artificial intelligence, right? Some typical job, like a couple of decades ago, this was kind of usual, of course, completely replaced by AI. So these are the kinds of jobs and these are the kind of activities that I would worry about if you're sort of like working in these kind of industries. What else? What about, I don't know, farmers? Also depends on kind of self-driving stuff, but also machines that milk cows automatically, right? The cows walking into a kind of building, and everything will be taken care of by machines. What about accounting and bookkeeping, image recognition, kind of automatic processes there with accounting and bookkeeping? This is just the stuff that I would worry about when I'm thinking about people losing jobs to AI. And not the software developers itself. And the reason why is that creating software is all about converting requirements of a customer, of a user. And these requirements are often quite vague. You're not really sure about what they mean. That it's hard for the customer to picture what they are getting. That's why we have the whole agile methodology, where you're not trying to, create everything from scratch and take a long time and then you're finished, but you're trying to move incrementally. You develop something for a short period of time, 2 weeks, and then you show it to the customer, and then they see it for the first time. Only a little bit, of course, because in 2 weeks you can only go so far. But then they see something, they can interact with a working piece of software, they can give you feedback, and then you continue working in for example, 2 weeks increments. And that's because it's quite difficult to determine what needs to be done beforehand. And it's, if the customer or if the user can't really tell what needs to be done, then to another human, it's even more complex and more difficult for an AI to understand what kind kind of problem needs to be solved, what kind of code needs to be done. So I wouldn't worry about that. AI won't make software developers lose their jobs. It will make their life easier. It's already a couple of tools available in day-to-day life when you're working as a software developer. Helping you create better codes, helping you introduce less bugs, find bugs more easily. That's the type of work where artificial intelligence is involved in the software engineering field, but not that it sort of replaces software developers because magically it writes the software for itself. That's not what it's about. So I would invite you as some kind of homework, if you like, to look around and try to determine jobs or even whole industries that were affected by the quote unquote digitalization, right? By the introduction of computers, of digital processes. Think about what jobs are not here any longer. Maybe they were there a couple of decades ago. Think about how the jobs themselves have changed. The daily work life has changed. What made it easier? The introduction of computers and of digitalization and maybe artificial intelligence. And what kind of jobs have been replaced? Try to picture that and then make up your own mind whether it makes sense actually to be part of that sort of digital revolution and to join forces there and to help write better software quicker and help people in their day-to-day lives, not worry about whether it makes sense to go into software engineering right now because artificial intelligence will replace the jobs. There will be hundreds of jobs that will be affected by artificial intelligence before software engineering is involved.